Hi, my name is Katelyn Matthews, and my speech is titled, Why Teens Shouldn't Vape. My speech is on the detrimental effects of vaping. There are tons of teens vaping nowadays. I saw a study of the National Public Radio. They state the researchers estimate nearly 1 million students use e-cigarettes daily. This includes about 1 in 17 high schoolers nationwide. Another word for vaping devices, e-cigarettes. So there are multiple reasons that teens vape. This could be trying to impress friends or just experiencing new things, wanting to try new things because they're a teen. They're trying to push the limits and see what they can do. And then another reason I saw was to escape depression or anxiety. It's just a way the brain, the chemicals in the vaping device makes the brain seem more relaxed and not as anxious. And ultimately, there are no good excuses to why teens do it. Vaping is affecting teens in terrible ways, and they either don't know it or just choose to ignore it overall. And the detrimental effects on teens from the results of vaping are hurting their lungs, they're hurting their brain, and hurting their wallet. Alright, and this is a picture of the lungs. So the one on the left is going to be the normal lung, and that's what normal people's lungs should look like without smoking or vaping, and it's just a healthy lung right here. And then the one on the right is going to be the vaping lung. This is the one that is caused by vaping for a long period of time. Vaping can cause, so the one on the right is vaping lung. That's the one that is considered also popcorn lung, which is when there's scarring on the tiny air sacs in the lungs, causing thickening and narrowing of the airways. The lungs' airways shrink because of the harmful chemicals that are found in vaping devices. University of Washington Health did a study on vaping, and they found that e-cigarettes have a flavored liquid such as nicotine, and nicotine is heated to a high temperature, which turns the liquid into aerosol. And aerosol is a very harmful chemical because when inhaled from the vaping device, it actually is directed into the lungs. And over time, the airways and lungs get very small and make it very difficult to breathe. And it can be difficult to breathe while just doing normal tasks, or even worse, doing exercise or physical activity, and just not being able to breathe properly. Vaping can affect the brain as well. Vape devices usually contain about 5% nicotine, and along with other harmful chemicals. Nicotine is an addicting chemical, which makes it very difficult to try to quit. The National Institutes of Health states that withdrawal from an addicting chemical like nicotine can cause anxiety and irritability because the body is craving it. Nicotine can also change teens' brain cell activity. Nicotine can affect areas of the brain that are in control of learning, memory, and attention. So nicotine is just a bad chemical because it can just make it very difficult to quit after doing it for a long period of time. And then the Healthline also states over time the brain begins to compensate for the increased signaling activity by reducing the number of acetylcholine receptors. She explains this causes a nicotine tolerance, so continued and more nicotine is needed. So over time, as the teen may vape more, the more tolerance your brain and your body will build to that nicotine, and so the teens will need to eventually, over time, have more nicotine in a shorter setting to get the same feeling that they would when they first started. So over time, the more vaping you do, the more your body can handle the nicotine, which just results in more vaping devices and being bought, and then increases how often teens vape. The more teens are vaping, the more they're spending. Vaping devices can range from about $5 to $50. So there's different types of vaping devices. Disposable devices are at a price of $5 to $15. The pod systems are at a price of $15 to $50. And then vape pens are about $15 to $35. And when just reading those numbers, it doesn't seem like it's a lot of money. But over time, it kind of adds up. And usually they're not just bought one time and they're just used the rest of your life. They require to be bought multiple times over a life. So disposable vapes are bought multiple times a week. So pod systems last about 35 days. Vape pens last about 3 days. So depending on how much the teen is vaping, they could be buying these devices at least twice a week or possibly more. And then so you're doubling the original prices. So for example, at the original price of $15, which is doubled in a week. So that is $30 a week, and then times 4 weeks could be $120 in just 1 month. And so $120 times 12, which is a year, it comes out to $1,440. And this is just on vaping devices alone, not including any other outside things that may be added to the vaping device. And it just doesn't seem like a lot right now, but then over time it gets crazy expensive. Most teens wouldn't be able to keep up with this, or would be spending whatever last time they have on it. A lot of teens nowadays aren't having a steady income or jobs that are paying a lot, and so anything they are getting from their job, they could be spending on vaping devices, which is taking up a lot of their money, which is $1,000, $440 a year. And then some teens who don't have money, they're trying to get it some other way with birthday money or anything like that, but they're using every little thing that they could on it. So ultimately, the conclusion is teens shouldn't vape. They vape for reasons such as to be cool or fit in, or like I said before, escape from anxiety or depression by getting that good feeling from the nicotine of the vaping device. So they shouldn't vape because it can hurt lungs. It can hurt their lungs, their brain, and also their wallet because they don't have any money. Over time, the airway in their lungs will thicken and narrow, and then that was just the lungs being affected, and the brain can also be affected by vaping. It damages parts of the brain that are responsible for learning, memory, and attention span, and also can hurt people outside of their body by making a dent in their wallets. They don't have enough money to begin with, so they're using every little money they have. And I think it's important for teens to not vape or to stop vaping, and not vaping will make them healthier in the long run by being able to look like the lung on the right instead of the lung on the left. So, yeah, thank you.